Before starting, do consider subscribing. Click the like button if you liked the video and comment down your suggestions after you have watched the video. Thank you. Now let us start.
The beginning of the story had a common setup. A man gets infected by the virus, causing the appearance of zombies. Some people see that man is sick and try to help him. Then the zombie, doing what he does, started biting others arbitrarily. Then there was worldwide chaos. People ran away to survive. To create a safe refuge, the government built a blockade around Busan. The first police line was at the Busan border. So now, hearing all this, what do you think is the largest problem that the world right now has? Was it the 30 million zombies from outside that were approaching the blockade? The chaos in the countries where the people were fighting and abandoning the well-beings of their kinds just to survive? A defeated government that considers its people a burden? Although a problem, it was still not the biggest one. The real problem was house pricing. Due to the sudden increase of refugees in the city, the house prices were 100 times higher than before. The money deposit was also 47 times more expensive. Money rent had increased 30 times. For those who do not have a house, the outside of the blockade that is surrounded by zombies and wherein people inside the blockade suffer from cold and hunger. Both can be considered hell. And the main character of the story is Kim Chul-soo, 23 years, who was day labor by profession. He was one of the many who did not have any home. Early in the morning, during the afternoon, and late at night. If he slept for 2 hours and 30 minutes a day, then he would barely get 4.5 million won. And if he were to accumulate 39.5 billion won without spending a single penny, it would take him 731 years to buy a house. Looking at the burning fire, he thinks that he can never buy a house if he were to earn money honestly. So, he thinks that the only way left was that way, looking at a banner stating that the country wants them, iron and steel industrial complex. There was an advertisement where person was asking if anyone was starving, tired of being homeless, and the zombies were the one who created this terrible deficiency. So, it was time to gain the territory. So, it was not time to live a life oppressed by zombies anymore. It was time to get out of the blockade and kill a zombie, bring the evidence, and get 5 million won per head. So, the only option was to get out of the blockade and get a chance to turn their life around. After all, there wasn't any significant movement within the blockade either. People were talking about the advertisement for a moment to regain territory. Kim was also there. He was asked to give the train fare and his physical rights waiver. He was given a ticket to Pohang, the area of operation, with the pass having boarding platform number 3. Jang thinks he had at least 1.2 million once saved as an emergency fund, shovels that he stole from work. He was literally all in to become a zombie or become a house owner and have freedom to do whatever he wanted. He plans to settle it that day. He bumps into a person, making the person fall. The person was angry with him. Some other men around see the scattered arrows and tries to take it. But the person with the mask tries to take it back but gets bullied by the other guys. They tell hand over the weapon and leave or else become their bait. He then drags the hair and pulls the masked person. Kim then grabs the bully and tells him to let go. The bully then questions who he was and tells him to let go. Kim hits him in the face, explains that he is concentrating on eliminating the zombies, and if people like him were after their own kind instead of zombies, then they are of no use. The masked person then thanked Kim, but Kim was not trying to help, he just took the weapon for himself. He could not buy stuff like that because of the price, but he was Lucy to get it. The person with the arrow breaks all of the arrows. The military guards shout at them because of the noise, but the other one tells him not to waste energy scolding them when they were going outside, as they were just trying to survive. Seeing that Kim had knocked both the bullies, the soldier then told that the only purpose of this operation was to reduce the population of the bunch of morons. The train then leaves. They get to the 17th Territorial Regain Operation Zone Pohang Station. The train door opens. They all get out of the train and look around to see that there were no soldiers and no zombies around. The masked person was after the crossbow. Then there is an announcement. This startled all the people there. The announcement stated that Busan has a serious population density and therefore they have come to reduce the population to secure land per capita. Therefore, then a loud noise comes from the speaker. This makes all the people there very irritated. The noise then acted as a catalyst to attract multiple zombies towards them. Then the next step of the operation was simple. Run. The people were knocking at the train doors. It detached with the containers that brought them and left all of them in that place. People got into the container trying to save them. It was all a chaos. But on the other side, Kim was watching the zombies come. He gives the crossbow to the masked person and tells that he is only loaning it and the rent is 10 zombies. The masked person asked if Kim was going to fight. Kim says 7,900 zombies. He then takes out the shovels, starts killing the zombies. It was the number of zombies that he had to catch. The main character was in the city. He goes on a killing spree, killing as much zombies as he possibly could. One after another. He gets pinned against the container. The masked man was also on the roof of the container trying to fight. Kim then gets up. A huge herd of zombies were coming his way, but he was slicing them. Any zombies in the path, he was slicing them all. The masked person is shocked seeing this. It was morning. Kim was on the top of the zombie corpses. The masked person asked if Kim was okay. Kim tells not to worry about him and count the number of zombies he had killed as he needed to go and get the money. The masked person asked why he was going so far to make some money and if he was afraid of dying. Kim then says it was to get his own house. This confuses the masked person. Kim then states with a yard if possible. Dedicated team to the movement to regain territory. The people in the control room were shocked to see that a single person had caught so many zombies. Precisely, it was 8,000 zombies. The main character had achieved his dream in just the first chapter of the manga. Kim and the masked person then reach the Busan gate. The guards see them and think they were zombies. They shout that they are humans and tell them not to shoot. They then go to the Ministry of Land, Transport and Maritime Affairs to collect their rewards. He had caught a total of 8,021 zombies and it was 5 million won per head. So, it meant that he had earned a total of 40 billion and 105 million won. But before he receives the payment, they tell him to maintain confidentiality related to the territorial regain operation. Then he is made to sign a contract. A member asks the team leader if they really needed to give the money to him. He then smirks and tells that he had killed all those zombies and who knows what will happen if they don't pay him. He says that first they should pay him, and he had got ways to get the money back. Kim and the masked person both leave the premises carrying the money. The masked person asks Kim what he was going to do next. Kim without answers gives 30 million won to the person excluding the crossbow rental fee and tells him not to follow him. The masked person then asked if he was going to buy a house and if he did, the person asked to be invited as she would buy him a housewarming gift. He spent 39.5 billion to buy a house. He purchased a small house in Busan near Saosin. He then goes inside the house. He thinks that he will now live happily. But if the story ended like this, would not it be a bit uninteresting? His feet are hurt by something. He looked down to see that there was black blood there. He then remembers the ministry asking for all the bags and weapons. Looks like they must have planted blood there. He remembers his past. He was with his brother. They had gotten separated from their parents during the evacuation and hopes that they were still alive. They were going to buy a house with a yard and put a nameplate with their family name on it, so that their mom and dad would find them. Outside, the police were already there and the house was fully surrounded. The leader yells that the survivor of the 17th Territorial Regain Operation, Mr. Kim Chul-soo, was currently infected. The member asks if it was necessary to provoke him, as he might run wild and create a situation worse, and this might not be very humane for them. He then smirks and tells if there is rumor that there is a survivor from the Territorial Regain Operation, there is a possibility that other slashers would try to recruit him first. He then again shouts in the mile that according to the Zombie Prevention Act, they will have to take away everything that he owned. That will include everything that he owns, including the property he was in. Kim then comes out of the door. Seeing him in that state, the leader notices that the infection was going smooth. Zombies, then poverty, and now the government were going to take everything from him. The leader laughs at Kim. Kim then shouts that he wants to own a house. He cries if it was just a dream that the world does not allow. He runs towards them shouting he wanted a house to wait for his family and why they were being so mean to him. On the other building, a girl is taking shower. Her appointment at 5:30 has arrived. She tells them to wait and that she will be out soon. The girl then gets out. She was the same masked person from earlier. CEO of slasher company CEO Choi Ah-jeong. Her secretary introduces the man to the CEO. Choi sits down and asks the man, Mr. Jang Myung-ho, why he had come to her company. He tells him that it was nothing much. He had just heard that there is a company that can pick up items from the zombie areas. The CEO then, with a huge smile, says that he had come to the right place, and Choi and Jang was the company that specialized in handling zombies. She then tells him that it is a company that has expertise in various tasks such as clearing zombie areas, collecting items or people in zombie areas. She was the one who manages a lot of slashers who were good at catching zombies. He is then given a menu. The prices were filthy expensive. The secretary then tells that the fixed amount may vary according to the size or location of the item that a person is looking for, as it will be a lot more expensive to bring 200 kilogram steel safety box from the big city full of zombies. He tells him that he understood and then asks about the commission fee, as he currently only had about 1 billion won in cash. Choi then puts down the cup and tells her secretary to not waste her time by letting that beggar stay in there. She then tells him to get him out. He then tells her that it was worth more than 50 billion won. Before the zombie epidemic, he had bought some coins for fun. In a few years, the dollar and the won collapsed, but the coin had now risen 1,000 times. He then says that he would sell some of the coins and transfer the money to her. This makes Choi very happy, but he says that the unit price of the slashers and the bromide were a bit high and asks if they were any cheaper. She then smiles and tells that there is a newcomer that she is interested in. He then gives her his card and leaves. The secretary then tells that she has not heard of any and asks if Choi has been scouting for the Regain operation recently. She says that it was not exactly a scout and she needed to leave now. She then tells her secretary to prepare things for her to go out with as she changes her clothes. Choi asks if the bodyguard had any requests these days. The secretary says that there is not and that she would prepare one right away. Choi also asks to prepare tissue for a housewarming party.
Thank you for joining us in this recap journey. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button. Comment if you have suggestions, want more of the series. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Do subscribe if you want more similar content. This is Universe Nexus, your passport to the immersive realms of anime and manga.